What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Sunday edition of the Pandemic Update for Sunday, April 28th, 2024. If you're new to the channel, this is where we do the daily pandemic update on all things COVID and any other viruses that could be a health threat to you. Today we're going to focus on wastewater, where we'll take a look at COVID levels and other viruses in wastewater around the United States. Want to stay safe and informed? Subscribe to my channel down below. Like the content you see, give it a thumbs up. The more thumbs up we get, the more likes we get, the more YouTube pushes this out through the algorithm. Yesterday's video, it was viewed the most, one of the highest viewed videos ever on the channel. So it does work, and I want to keep as many people safe as possible. If you've got something to say, leave a comment down below and share this with anyone you know. Alrighty, we're going to do one news story today. We're going to take a look at a little bit of a daily data, including air qualities, pollen levels. Then we are strictly going to take a look at wastewater. We're going to go around the different regions of the country and see what's going on. First off, I have to share this with you. Bon Jovi, he was set to do a documentary, about his career. He's a musician, and that's still going to happen. There's still going to be a screening. However, when he was going to go to his screening of it, his wife tested positive for COVID, so he is not going to be seeing that screening. And he actually takes COVID serious in the sense that he had COVID himself back in 2021. And listen to this. He tested positive for COVID in 2021, and a year later told the Star Tribune, contracting the illness made him realize how volatile we are and how fragile life is. John added, "It didn't matter if you are young or old, American, Egyptian, no matter who you are or where you are from, the COVID-19 pandemic affected you." And yes, that is very true. It is affecting everyone. Everyone is impacted by this virus, one way or another, whether they want to admit it or not. So those are actually some words of wisdom from Bon Jovi. Sorry to hear that his wife has tested positive and cannot join him in seeing the screening of his new documentary on his life. Alrighty, taking a look here at this, not the advertisement, taking a look here at the allergy map, and 24% of the country today is in the medium status for pollen levels. And yes, I can see here there's red. All of Maine's in the red today. Much of Ohio, the Ohio Valley is in the red. Even here in Philly, we're in the red today. Hey, my weather station is currently saying 83 degrees. Now, there is some radiating heat going on from the aluminum roof of our shed where it is up there. So take away 2 degrees. That's 81 degrees. 81 degree weather plus pollen. Ooh, that's a bad combination. I was coughing away this morning, unfortunately. When the pollen's up, that happens. Even with my allergy medicines and even with the air purifier running this morning. I have it off now so we can record because it's relatively noisy. You can see here, the plains, not as bad, although you go into northern Oklahoma, portions of Kansas, there is some red for you, and some orange out on the west coast. Taking a look at this, I do have to show this to you. There is still a threat of tornadoes today. It's not as great as a threat. I did want to go back and show you yesterday where there were over 40 tornadoes confirmed. And you can see when we go back to the map for Friday, yes, that went up to 112. But when we filter it out, some reports were duplicated. It's 86. They're still doing storm surveys on both days. So who knows? More could be added. Again, there is a threat of tornadoes today. It's not as great. There are some tornado watches out. There will be a few tornadoes today. So remember, if you're in Texas, if you're in Louisiana, if you're in portions of Arkansas, if you get that tornado warning, head to your safe place immediately, because I got to keep you safe from tornadoes as well. Climate Data Report is my other Twitter account where I do tweet about severe weather. Haven't gotten to do any of that today. I will try to this evening. Tweet a couple things. All right, taking a look at air qualities across the United States, as we have to refresh this like we always do. And you're going to see it's not great for some people. There are definitely areas. Look at the Ohio Valley, into the Mid-Atlantic, upstate New York, portions of southern New England. You're definitely in the orange today and yellows in a lot of this area. And you are seeing some yellows and oranges ahead of that boundary in Texas and portions of southeast Oklahoma and California. Your usual hotspots today, and a few hotspots today up in Oregon and Washington. If you live anywhere that is yellow or greater, I suggest you might want to consider wearing a mask outdoors because air quality is bad, especially if you have COPD or asthma. Philadelphia yesterday reported 739 EMS incidents. Taking a live look what's going in with Montgomery County, we can see here there are a few calls right now, just 8. And Chester County also does have a few calls right now, but again, it's not terribly busy right now. So I'm hoping that means in Philadelphia County, we'll see the number be really low when it comes in tomorrow. I haven't been listening to the dispatch, and I have not been listening to the medic band, so can't tell you how busy it is in the city right now, but I can show you what is going on in the suburbs, and I've been monitoring it for much of the day. It has not been all that bad. Usually when we get a warm day like today, tomorrow will be even warmer. Respiratory calls usually do go up. Alright, let's quickly take a look at New Jersey. I was not going to show New Jersey, but let's see. Is it worth it? Let's see how many hospitals updated in New Jersey. Okay, 58 out of 70. Yeah, we're not even going to go. 159 hospitalizations, 12 hospitals missing. That's too many. Let's not continue on with that, and let's head over to the weekly wastewater update. Taking a look at BioBot here, you can see almost all of the regions are dropping at this point, with the Midwest continuing to drop, West Coast and the South continuing to drop, kind of flattened out a little bit here in the Northeast. It actually went up ever so slightly, but it's nothing really to get concerned about at this point. It's just something we're going to watch. We do have all these new subvariants that are out there, and because of those new subvariants, we will see probably a flattening in the majority of the regions. If anything, maybe down the line, it may go up slightly, but it's not going to be a major increase. Or at least, we're not thinking it's going to be one. The modeling, at one point, was showing it, and now it's saying, you know what, maybe it's not going to go up as much. So, we hope that will remain the case. We also do want to take a look at flu and RSV. I got news for you. Flu and RSV, they are still out there. I just heard of someone in Bucks County, Pennsylvania today. You know, I nosy on social media, say, oh, went to the doctors for allergies. Turns out I'm positive for RSV. So they were positive for RSV. So RSV is still out there, though be it's probably not in mass circulation at this point. Taking a look here at the various different regions, you can see influenza A, for the most part, dropping in all regions. Influenza B and RSV is dropping in all regions at this time. But we will be taking a look at some individual wastewater sites where I'll show you some things that are rather interesting in just a moment. Taking a look at the CDC site, and I do need to refresh this. I think that was actually the updated levels, but no, it wasn't. Wow, things have really improved here. So in the United States, there are now just 2 of those red sites. But first off, maybe you're new to my channel. We've had a lot of new people over the last couple of days. Let me explain what the different colors mean. Gray, that means a wastewater site has not updated. White, that means it's a new site, or maybe it hasn't been on the map in a while. That does happen sometimes. Blue, dark blue, 0 to 19% COVID detected at that wastewater site. So in other words, 0 to 19% of the sampling says, hey, there's COVID. 0 meaning no COVID. 20 to 39%, slightly lighter shade of blue. There are 543 sites in that shade, and I forgot to mention the dark blue, it's now up to 550 sites. That's a good thing. That means COVID levels are low in many places. 543 slightly higher, and then the light blue, 40 to 59% detected. That, we'll say that's a moderate shade. 146 sites in that category. 60 to 79% COVID detected. 29 sites, that's these orange sites right here. And you can see, it's not as many of them. And we're down to just 2 red sites. 80 to 100% COVID detected only in 2 red sites. I say we should take a look at those 2 sites, see what's going on. In Beaufort, South Carolina, 20,000 population, they were seeing a rise in COVID. But there's not, it's really the only wastewater site there that I believe is seeing that. Yeah, here we go. We can see in some other counties, yep, take Georgetown, for example, 30,000 population, it's dropping. So really, not all that concerned. Richland County, it was dropping, now it's leveled off a little bit. And let's go up to New York State here, where there is also another red site, Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls area, Niagara, New York. That's continuing to rise, that's continuing to be red. That was a site in the path of totality. They did see a lot of people for the eclipse, so that could be a reason why they are still red. And I'm just looking at Ohio here, just going around, Franklin County, Ohio, 654,000 population. That is where Columbus is. This is just one wastewater site there. You can see COVID levels, they continue to drop. Here we go in Hamilton, which is Cincinnati. That is rising ever so slightly. We'll come back to the CDC map just a little bit. We also do need to take a look at this. And we can see here, wastewater sites by state. They can actually take all the sites in the state and, average them up and see what comes out. It's low or minimal in all the states now. A couple states are not reporting, and a couple, no, several states now are in the minimal category. We do not see any state now in the moderate level. That is really good. But we can actually go a step further. So we looked at COVID, but now we can actually go and take a look at various different sites across the country for different viruses. And we're going to do that. So nationwide, COVID, it's low at this time and dropping. RSV is low and dropping. Influenza A is high still. It's saying high, but it's dropping. We'll go with it's probably lower than that. Now, it's probably in the moderate category. Again, I don't always understand how they calculate this. Sometimes something will be near zero and it comes up high. I don't understand that. Influenza B is dropping at this time. HMPV continues to drop. Norovirus continues to drop. I would agree. That probably still is moderate to high, and we can't see Mpox or hepatitis A on national level. In the Midwest region, when we take a look at that chart, we can see the COVID levels are low and dropping. RSV is low and dropping in wastewater. Influenza A is high, but take a look here. It is dropping at this time. Influenza B is dropping. HMPV is dropping. Norovirus is dropping as well. And now taking a look at the Northeast, and we can see in the Northeast region that there is a slight rise for COVID once again. So that's something we'll have to watch. It's been going on for a couple updates now. And again, we do have these new subvariants that are out there. Northeast would be the first place to see a rise because obviously New York City, New Jersey, that I-95 corridor often sees a rise first. So there is a little bit of a rise here. But again, we weren't seeing that big of a rise on BioBot, but this is a little bit more significant. Something we'll have to watch. I'm not terribly concerned yet. If, say, 2 weeks from now this is continuing, then yes, it would be a little bit more concerning for the Northeast. RSV at this time is low. Influenza A it's dropping at this time, and Influenza B is also dropping after a brief minor rise. HMPV saw a little bit of rise, but now it's dropping. Same with norovirus. All right, continuing on here into the South region, and taking a look at the South, we can see COVID. It's dropping at this time. RSV, a little bit of a rise. Influenza A is definitely rising at this time. Interesting, something we'll have to keep an eye on. And influenza B is dropping, HMPV is dropping, and norovirus is dropping as well. When we take a look at the West, we can see here COVID is low and dropping. RSV is low at this time, dropping. Influenza A has leveled off slightly. Influenza B is dropping. HMPV, it's dropping ever so slightly. And norovirus out in the West Coast is actually rising at this time. Now, I need to refresh this so we can go back to the map, and here we go. Let's take a look at some various different wastewater sites. And you know what? We started off here with State College being on the map. That's in Pennsylvania. I do need to show this to you because there are some concerns with State College. Yesterday there was that concert I was telling you about, and I believe it's a 3-day thing. Well, either way, yesterday the attendance at the concert, it was a big one. 80,000 people showed up. It was an outdoor concert, but again, 80,000 people with multiple showings throughout the weekend. You know what that means. That means that there is definitely potential that there could be COVID there, and wherever the people came from, they could be taking COVID or any of these other viruses back with them. COVID, it was rising slightly in State College. Now it's starting to drop again. Commencement for Penn State University. That's coming up pretty soon. RSV is flat at this time. Influenza A is low. Influenza B is low. HMPV has rose slightly. Norovirus is medium, this time dropping. One detection of Mpox back in February. And hepatitis A, no issues at this time. All right, let's go out to the West Coast. We're just randomly going along here. We're not going to get to every state. We're not going to get to every wastewater site. Look for more wastewater sites during the daily pandemic updates, but I promise we will get to a few of the areas that we normally do. Los Angeles, low for COVID, low for RSV, low for influenza A, also low for influenza B. Really, none of these are rising at this time. There are some detections of hepatitis A at this time. Continuing on, let's see, can we do anything for Arizona? No, we can't here, but we can go down to Texas. And I want to show this to you. There's two wastewater sites in Amarillo, Texas. I think I got the right one here. It should be the, nope, we want to go to the other wastewater site. This is the one right here, the northern site in Amarillo, Texas. I want you to see this. COVID is dropping, RSV is low, but look at influenza A. Now it is starting to drop once again. That is a good thing. But for a while there, it was seeing a big, significant rise. And I'm starting to learn that H5N1 can show up in wastewater. So that is slightly concerning to see that it did have such a rise. Again, we don't know for sure if that's what it was, but you know, it did see a rise, and Texas is dealing with outbreaks at dairy farms and, you know, cats as well. There's been the problem with influenza B is flat at this time, not rising. HMPV is dropping. Norovirus is slightly starting to rise at this site, and there are some detections of hepatitis A and one detection of Mpox. Now let's go up here to Arkansas. I wanted to show this to you as well. Now we showed this site recently. Got to show it again. Look at the COVID levels here. They're going back to the high range. They're really starting to rise in Harrison, Arkansas. RSV is low at this time. Influenza A is flat. Influenza B is flat. HMPV has dropped. And norovirus is really high at this time. Wow. But luckily, it is dropping, but it is still really high. Number of pathogens is still close to about 200,000. There was a detection of Mpox back in February and some hepatitis A detections. Let's go back to the CDC page now because I want to show you what's going on in Chicago and a few other places. Cook County is flat on this site, but there is a much bigger site for Cook County that I want to show you. Here it is. 1.1 million, and that is dropping at this time. Lake County, Indiana is also dropping at this time. Let's see if we can show anything from Florida that actually is up to date. I'm seeing a lot of grayed out sites, but let's see here. Orange County is coming up flat at this time. Let's go out. How about New Orleans? Can we go to New Orleans? There's a question. Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, at this time is dropping. I do know they are on wastewater scan. We'll get to that during the daily pandemic update during the week. I want to get to a few sites out here in Arizona. Maricopa County is dropping at this time. There's other sites for Maricopa County. That is also dropping. Here's another one, though. This is bigger. 130,000 population. That is rising ever so slightly. And clicking on this other site, La Paz, that is a very small wastewater site. It's dropping at this time. Can we come up here to Oregon? Oregon's not doing all that bad, except for Lane County. You notice here it's a slightly lighter shade of blue, and it is seeing a rise at this time, so that's relatively interesting. But everywhere else, for the most part, just randomly clicking along here, is dropping. Let's go up near Seattle, Washington, and look at that. It's Pierce and King County, 896,000 population. You are dropping at this time. Let's go back and do one more wastewater scan site. Where is this going to be? How about we come up here to Iowa? Let's go to, how about Iowa City? And then we will call it a day. This is the near Iowa City. We can see the COVID levels are medium at this time. RSV is low. Influenza A is low. Influenza B is dropping. HMPV is seeing a rise at this time. Norovirus, it says high. I would say it is moderate, the high at this time. One detection of Mpox, same date that's been showing up at all sites. I don't know what happens there. I think that's a site glitch, and there is some detections of hepatitis A. Look for more wastewater sites during the daily pandemic update this week. I'll try and get to Georgia, maybe Alabama tomorrow. Yes, we'll definitely do some more wastewater sites tomorrow. I don't want this video to go on and on for over a half hour. That would just be ridiculous. But hey, thank you for checking out this video. If I helped you, maybe I informed you of what's going on in your area, let me know down below. Give this a thumbs up. The more thumbs up we get, the more it pushes the content out through the algorithm of YouTube. Let's try for over 100 likes today. And subscribe if you're new down below so you are informed of my latest videos. And of course, share this with anyone you know. Leave a comment if you have something to say down below. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Sunday evening. Thanks for watching.